Okay, so following on from that, so to experience that pure state of being, rather than from the physical perspective, what is the journey that you would say one needs to go on?
So first is understanding that I'm more than a physical body, and I think many of the viewers will understand that, but for a lot of people it's also difficult to grasp too, because the models of science that we've been brought up with has been that everything's about matter.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a scientist by any means, but I know there's beginning to be a bit of a shift, because the kind of traditional scientific model is that everything is about matter. Consciousness is somehow a product of matter or the brain. But people are now, even scientists, many scientists are shifting to that awareness that first it's consciousness that is causal, and then everything else responds after that. So how I look, my physical makeup, my state of health, so many things are determined by consciousness of being. So first it's that understanding that I'm not my body actually, I'm the soul. It's a very basic understanding, yes. But for a lot of people, people even say, yes, I know I have a soul.
But they don't understand the reality.
Reality. Well, then I say to people, I don't have a soul. And they say, what sort of person are you? But no, it's not I have a soul, but I am a soul. That's the difference. So that's the first understanding, that I am that. And this is my costume, my vehicle, or my temple. It's very precious. But it's not actually me. I am actually that conscious being, that light. And we actually have a location for that, but you won't be surprised, here in the centre of the forehead.
Is that what they call the third eye as
that's
well?
Right, the third
all-seeing eye.
Yeah. And so many traditions have some sort of ritual connected with this point, most actually. And it's like the eyes are the windows of the soul. So, when you look at a person, that's where you look. You look at the eyes and you get a feeling what is happening within. So first that awareness, that understanding, and the soul is actually an infinitesimal point of light. But the effect of it is, it's a bit like, homeopathic principle. The more subtle something is, the more effective it is. So the soul is extremely subtle. I mean, if you take the soul away from the body, which, not the soul, we prefer, in the Brahma Kumaris we have this terminology, rather than saying somebody dies, we say, they left their body. So they left it behind somewhere. But when the soul leaves, none of the organs can function, maybe for a few minutes, but not more than that. Because it's that energy of the soul, the living being, that is also empowering the whole body, as well as all the expression of I as a person and my personality and everything else. And so what we do usually here in meditation is the first step to develop and experience that conscious awareness of the soul. And then very gently, with our thoughts, go inside, think about, deeply contemplate on the nature of the self. Maybe at some point when it's appropriate we can do a little meditation.
That would be nice for
the cameras too. But it's a process of pure thinking of the mind and living being, bringing my awareness to the center of the forehead and thinking about or contemplating deeply on my original state of being. That's the other thing that's very important.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? Each of us have an original state of being, which has now become quite suppressed in today's fast-moving world. But that original state of being is peace. In fact, there are 5 core qualities of the soul. Peace. And I'm sure you can tell me as far as I can tell, peace, love, wisdom, happiness, and purity. Purity is as I am with all the negativity and everything else is stripped away, and I'm pure being. And so when we contemplate on these, then we come into that experience of pure being and my original qualities. Because in today's world, because we have become so identified with the material, it's as if we've suppressed those qualities. As you see, people are empty inside, and so that's why people very easily get defensive or angry, or the other negative reactions that can happen. And so we need to come back to that pure state of being, where I'm not simply living life reacting to everything, but I'm actually now becoming the master and allowing my original qualities to be the essence that actually then is the foundation for my thoughts, my words, my actions. So I'm now truly responding consciously rather than just reacting.
And that's really empowering as well as beautiful, because that's powerful, not in the true sense of power, but that is something that's really unique to each one of us. We're all unique individuals, and we all have that essence within us.
Absolutely, but it is the true sense of power, actually. I mean, power, people think of power
that's what I mean, in that sort of
external,
arrogant, egotistical way.
But this is real power, because it's very gentle, it's non-violent, but it enables there to be upliftment.
And I think also the beauty of that is that very much we don't allow external things to validate or define who we are. We can stand in our own strength and essence and just be, because this sense of being crops up quite a lot in the spiritual sort of conversation. The sense of being,
Being, yes.
There is nothing
Don't
else
have to
other
be
than
anything,
that's
it's
right,
be.